What's the roast that finally silenced the king of the rehab wing? I work as a therapy tech at a veterans rehabilitation unit, and the men and women on that floor have been through more surgeries than most people have had jobs. What outsiders never expect is the laughter. It's constant, it's merciless, and it's how they love each other. The undisputed champion was Otis, 61, retired Marine gunnery sergeant, below-the-knee amputee, wheelchair covered in bumper stickers including one that said, "My other leg is in storage." Otis ran that wing like a comedy club he owned. Every new arrival got the same welcome. He'd roll up, look them over like a drill instructor inspecting a bunk, and open fire. Army guys got it worst. You know why the Army's so tough, right? Try carrying the Marines' luggage for 200 years. It was initiation. It meant you're one of us now. 90% of them were laughing by the third joke. Then Reyes arrived. 24, Army, fresh from months at a bigger facility after a convoy accident overseas, learning to use a prosthetic he clearly hated. He didn't talk. He did his sessions, ate facing the window, and answered every question with one syllable. His file said his fiancée had returned the ring while he was still in a hospital bed in Germany. Day 3, Otis rolled over with his usual crew of 3, trailing him like ducklings. "Army," he announced. "Good news, son. We finally figured out what Army stands for. Ain't ready to be Marines yet." The ducklings howled. Reyes stared out the window. Otis kept firing. The one about Army boots being for walking backward. The one about how the Army wears its medals on its chest because there's no room in the brain. Each joke landed on the crew like Christmas morning, and each one hit Reyes like weather on a rock. Nothing. Otis wheeled closer, going louder, working the room now. "Hey, I'm just saying the kid's quiet because they teach the Army silence in basic. It's the only thing they pass first try." And Reyes turned from the window, looked Otis dead in the eye, and said, calm as a range instructor, "That all your batteries got, Gunny?" The wing went silent. Nobody returned fire on Otis. It simply wasn't done. Otis's grin flickered and came back bigger. "Oh ho, it speaks. Go ahead, Army. Impress me." Reyes sat up, and this kid who hadn't strung 8 words together in 3 days proceeded to dismantle Otis with a fluency that made 2 nurses stop mid-chart. The jokes came in disciplined 3-round bursts. The Marine crayon jokes, delivered with new artillery Otis had clearly never heard. A bit about Otis's bumper stickers being older than his last physical fitness test. A devastating riff about how Otis's chair squeaked because even government equipment cries for help around Marines. The wing was dying. Men were wheezing. Otis's own crew defected mid-battle, cackling. Otis was loving it too, red-faced, slapping his armrest, right up until Reyes, smelling victory, went 1 round too far. And hey, at least my phone still rings on Sundays. Everything stopped. Because everyone on that floor knew, though nobody ever said it, that Otis's son hadn't called in over a year. Not since an argument nobody knew the contents of. Otis sat by the day room phone every Sunday afternoon anyway, doing crosswords, pretending that wasn't why he was there. Otis's mouth opened. Nothing came out. For the first time in the history of that wing, the gunny had no counter battery. He turned his chair and rolled to his room, slow, and the click of his door was the loudest sound I've heard in 9 years there. Here's why I'm telling this story though. That night, after lights dimmed, I watched Reyes wheel himself down the hall and knock on Otis's door. I was close enough to hear the opening line. "Gunny, I fired on a position I had no business ranging. That was a coward's shot." Long pause, then Otis's voice, rough. "Best counter battery I've taken since 2004. Get in here, Army." They were inseparable after that. Genuinely, annoyingly inseparable. They roasted each other daily, but a new rule quietly settled over the whole wing. Never announced, universally obeyed. Wounds are off limits, armor only. And 2 months later, on a Sunday, a man in his 30s walked into the day room looking nervous, holding a phone with a text thread open. I found out later Reyes had gotten the number from Otis's paperwork, called the son himself, and said exactly one thing. "Your dad taught a room full of broken soldiers how to laugh again. Come see the classroom." I was there when Otis looked up from his crossword. I've watched a lot of hard men learn to walk again on that floor. That was the first time I ever watched one stand all the way up without moving an inch.